You're watching Local 5 News. We are Iowa.
Well, I bet you don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about carbon dioxide. But if you like to crack open a cold one after a long day, maybe you should. A CO2 shortage is straining the beer industry nationwide, hitting small local brewers the hardest. In Iowa, that's forcing craft brewers to get creative to keep their beers flowing and their businesses from going flat. The perfect pour. It can be a thing of magic. And if you love that first fizzy sip dancing off your palate, you can thank carbon dioxide, a crucial ingredient to give beer its bubbles and body.
But with most of the CO2 that Iowa breweries get is from ethanol production. It's a byproduct of ethanol production. And ethanol production is down for a bunch of different reasons. And because of that, CO2 production is down.
Scott Salix is the co-founder of Lua Brewing in Des Moines. He's also the president of the Iowa Brewers Guild. While he says Iowa isn't seeing a CO2 shortage yet, brewers are starting to feel the effects.
Costs have doubled, in some cases tripled, and the price that consumers are willing to pay for a beer hasn't doubled or tripled, although I think most consumers are expecting to pay a little more. It's not in line with how costs have increased.
Some larger brewers are investing in systems to reuse the CO2 that comes off during fermentation. But that's a six-figure solution, money the small businesses just don't have, meaning they are at the whim of the supplier. And right now, no one really knows if supply will keep up with demand.
There's just nothing we can really do. And so if that time comes where we can't get CO2, the solution really becomes we're going to have to shut down. And it's not just breweries. I mean, bars, they use CO2 to push beer through their tap lines. Soda, same thing, you use CO2.
The executive director of the Iowa Brewers Guild echoes those concerns, saying every aspect of keeping a brewer afloat is costing more.
I think the big fear for Iowa brewers right now is that we're going to continue to see rising price costs for the supplies they need to both make the beer to serve in their tap rooms, but even more so the beer that we distribute out to folks around the state of Iowa. So we see increasing costs for CO2, also increasing prices for aluminum cans and cardboard and distribution.
But there is a glimmer of hope. Otto says Iowa's beer scene is on the rise and back to pre-pandemic levels.
So overall craft beer consumption has recovered. Especially in our tap rooms, we really are welcoming people back. That's important. We're seeing some growth in tap rooms around the metro.
So if you want to save the beer, there's even more good news.
If consumers choose Iowa breweries, that's a great way to support Iowa beer. And the more beer you sell, the more you can spread out these cost increases across that beer.
In other words, drink more beer. Local beer, that is. To that, we can raise a glass. Salix says out of all the craft beer consumed in Iowa, less than 5% of it is actually made in Iowa. So he says bumping that number up to just 7% would really help brewers defray those expenses in their business right now. Now, Noreen Otto says she is encouraged by some recent legislation supporting the industry and accolades won around the world by Iowa brewers. She believes the industry will continue to thrive despite these economic pressures.